Six Flags and Cedar Fair just announced their new ride lineups for 2024, and with the exception of Knott's Berry Farm announcing something on October 24th, and maybe a surprise from Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, this appears to be what we are getting for 2024 between the two largest chains in North America. Both chains have announced 3 decent-sized roller coasters along with a few other attractions. Six Flags does have an inherent numerical advantage in this fight as they had 8 of their parks announce something significant, while Cedar Fair only had 4 of their main dry parks, plus Knott's Berry Farm make an announcement. I will be looking at this more subjectively and who I think has a stronger future in terms of additions. This is really the first time we've had strong lineups from both chains since 2020, and a lot of things have changed since then. Each chain is working with a different group of manufacturers. Six Flags has completely changed leadership, and the scale of investments have changed a bit. I'm going to be taking this all into consideration before deciding a winner of this battle, in my opinion that is. Before I kick this off, I've been keeping a close eye on these chains for a while now, and I've made numerous videos over the years about both chains. And I plan to keep making more videos like this in the future, so if this interests you, make sure to subscribe and like the video to show your support. Side note, if you're wondering who the heck I am, make sure to check out this video I made recently about my rebrand. That said, let's talk about the roller coasters each chain is adding this upcoming year. First, let's talk about the roller coasters Cedar Fair is adding this year. The biggest addition for the chain is Top Thrill 2, the long anticipated redo of Top Thrill Dragster. I won't talk about this ride too much because I already made a full analysis video talking about the pros and cons of this attraction that you can check out by clicking the card in the iBox. I do think this is a really solid remake of a fan favorite that was plagued by downtime throughout its life. This will probably be the best new addition overall for either chain, but Cedar Fair obviously had a 420 foot tall canvas to work with, but the fact that they went over 400 feet with the spike is pretty cool as well. But all things considered, the investment for this ride wasn't as high as it would have been had it been a ground up addition. The chain's second largest coaster coming next year is Iron Menace, a B&M dive coaster coming to Dorney Park. If you're not a fan of Top Thrill 2, you could probably argue that this coaster is going to give the best ride experience out of any new coaster coming to either chain. Even though the layout is relatively short, it looks like it has some strong elements and decent pacing. The theming for this ride looks to be pretty well done and fitting for a park located in an industrial area of the country. The biggest surprise we saw from Cedar Fair was the announcement of Snoopy Soapbox Racers coming to Kings Island. This will add a great family coaster to the world-renowned Planet Snoopy area of the park, along with a new family play area for children too. Vekoma Family Boomerang seemed to be a near-perfect addition for any park looking for a compact roller coaster that provides a great introduction to going backwards on a ride. This will also be the first time that Cedar Fair has worked with new age Vekoma too. Speaking of Vekoma boomerangs, Six Flags is adding a Vekoma Super Boomerang at Six Flags Great Adventure called Flash Vertical Velocity. As noted in Six Flags' most recent earning call, this was a last-second addition to the 2024 Six Flags lineup. I'm really happy they did this, as seeing a new age thrilling Vekoma come to the United States in 2024 is a really good thing to see, as the status of Circuit Breaker is quite uncertain. This layout looks to be quite imposing with a height of 164 feet. I think both inversions look really good as well, especially that stall loop type element. That kind of gives me Phoenix vibes. There's a lot of chatter about a large 2025 roller coaster coming to the park, so that might make this addition seem a bit extra. However, if this park is trying to live up to the slogan of the world's ultimate thrill park, they'll need every quality thrill coaster they can get. I think it's also important to note that the park will also have numerous other upgrades for their 50th anniversary next year, such as a new resort and spa inside of the safari, the return of in-park guided safari tours, and a new brick trail. My personal favorite addition coming to the Six Flags chain next year is Bobcat coming to Six Flags Great Escape. This was a bit of a shock to everyone, as Great Escape has not gotten a new roller coaster since 2005, and that ride was a kiddie coaster. This will be the first ever ground up custom coaster to ever open at the park, which is absolutely mind boggling to me for a park of this size. These family gravity groups give lots of ejector airtime, which is something that you can experience at the park currently, at least on a roller coaster. This is going to be a great roller coaster, and I think it will be a more than worthy replacement for alpine bobsleds. The first coaster to be officially announced by Six Flags for 2024 was an Intamin Ultra Surf for Six Flags Over Georgia, which does not currently have a name because fans of the park will be picking a name for the roller coaster. I think this ride is more of a gimmick than anything, but the park is advertising that this will have 4 different airtime experiences at the airtime hill, so I think it could provide some sneaky good airtime. Or it could be a complete dud. Who knows? The top speed is advertised at 60 miles per hour, making it the fastest new coaster to come to a Six Flags park next year, along with a 144-foot maximum height at the top of the spike. I've never done one of the Surf Rider models, but it looks like they're actually pretty fun, and I think this will be even better, and could be a sleeper hit of 2024. This ride also checks off a lot of boxes for Six Flags Over Georgia, including a multi-launch coaster, a shuttle coaster, and a spinning coaster, so it really is a great fit for the park. All things considered, the new coaster lineups of these chains for next year are pretty even. If I were to ride all these coasters next year, I'd probably guess that Top Thrill 2 would rank the highest for me, followed by Flash, Bobcat, and then Iron Menace, but that could easily change. Like I mentioned earlier, Cedar Fair already had a giant canvas to work with for Top Thrill 2, so it's not like they put $40 million down for this ride. My guess would be that this is more in the $15 million range, maybe even less. I think if Knott's gets a family boomerang or an art engineering coaster similar to what Canada's Wonderland got this year in Snoopy's Racing Railway, I'd give Cedar Fair the edge, but it's really close. Now let's talk about the non-coaster editions. Unfortunately for Cedar Fair, Six Flags has them vastly outnumbered. Only one Cedar Fair park has announced a non-coaster edition, and that was Canada's Wonderland with Moosehorn Falls, a Whitewater West Boomerango water slide. I'm not a big fan of attached water parks, but this water slide looks really fun and should be a nice addition to Splashworks. It's also worth noting that the chain is investing in a new kids slide complex for Slitterbahn New Braunfels, including a new kiddie water coaster, which is really cool. And maybe we'll see that at some of the other parks in the future. Six Flags did not get any water park additions, interestingly enough, so Cedar Fair wins by default there. But this is an amusement park based channel, so that doesn't count for too much in my mind. Don't forget that Knott's Berry Farm also removed Camp Bus along with Timberline Twister, so we could see a new kids flat ride along with a new coaster, but that's yet to be seen at this point. Where Cedar Fair lacked non-coaster dry ride additions, Six Flags has 5 parks receiving a new ride outside of a coaster. Well, maybe 4. Six Flags Over Texas is combining their 2 log flumes into one ride to make one of the world's longest log flumes. It's kind of a cheap excuse for an addition that I don't really feel strongly about either way, so take that as you will. However, a very solid addition is Joker Carnival of Chaos coming to Six Flags St. Louis. This will be a Zamperla Giga Discovery, likely fitting in as a replacement to the park's former Excalibur flat ride. This ride should be very imposing as it will be one of the tallest rides in the park with a maximum swing height of 172 feet and a maximum speed of 75 miles per hour. There's also been some talk of this ride having a funhouse style queue as well, which would be really cool to see. Six Flags Great America will also be getting a Zamperla Giant Discovery called Sky Striker. This addition makes a lot of sense as a lot of the other larger Six Flags parks have the same exact ride, and Great America really needed another thrilling flat ride. Six Flags Fiesta Texas announced a large overhaul of their DC Universe area, including a few re-themes and relocations of a few rides within the park. There's also 3 brand new rides coming to this area, including a 70-foot tall Shazam-themed family drop tower, a Zamperla Nebula Z, and a new monorail-style ride that will take you around the area from above. Six Flags America is reviving their dormant Coyote Creek area by retheming it to Steamtown. This will come with a new Zamperla Nebula Z, along with refurbishments to Mini Racer, Renegade Rapids, and Coyote Creek Crazy Cars. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom also put up a banner about a 2024 edition. However, they have yet to announce anything, and it doesn't look like they will be getting anything in 2024, but keep your eyes open. After reviewing the lineups for both chains, Six Flags is a clear winner on paper, and I do think Six Flags did a better job with new additions than Cedar Fair. Six Flags' lineup overall is way more well-rounded, even with the absence of any new water park attractions. However, I will say if we can have 3 or 4 quality coasters from Cedar Fair every year going forward, I won't complain about any sort of lack of flat rides. But that's probably some wishful thinking. I also think Six Flags will be using a more aggressive investment strategy going forward. Six Flags had a total attendance of 20.4 million people in 2022, but CEO Salim Basoul stated that the ideal attendance range for the chain is anywhere from 25 million to 27 million people annually in the future, so expect more flashy new rides to push past sales in the future. They've also confirmed that there's going to be a roughly $30 million bump in capital expenditures in 2025, which will probably be mostly for new rides and to increase the quality of those new rides as well. They've been willing to work with anybody over the last few years. This year, we saw rides from Intamin, Vekoma, the Gravity Group, and Zamperla, and just a year ago, we saw them open roller coasters from B&M and RMC that seemed to be well received. So it appears that Six Flags is keeping their options wide open in terms of new rides. On the other hand, Cedar Fair has also been working with a wider range of manufacturers, with a couple of key exceptions. This year they worked with B&M, Zamperla, and Vekoma, and last year they worked with Art Engineering and GCI as well. From what I've heard, Cedar Fair has blacklisted what many consider to be the two best roller coaster manufacturers today. The company has not worked with Intamin since the early 2010s following the Shoot the Rapids fiasco. They went out of their way to avoid Intamin for the Top Thrill 2 project, and even went as far as to blame them for the accident that sparked the closure of Top Thrill Dragster. The same seems to go for RMC. After buying 3 roller coasters from them in 2018, the chain has yet to go back to them. It seems as if they're specifically unhappy with the numerous problems that Steel Vengeance has had, whether that be operationally or structurally, that resulted in the ride having lots of downtime early on. Although I don't think this will hurt Cedar Fair from a business perspective, I do think it'll make it vastly more challenging for them to create world-class roller coasters that enthusiasts like myself will go crazy about. Now I'm sure that's the last concern of the executives working for Cedar Fair, but I still like that Six Flags is willing to work with anyone, no matter the issues they may have had with them in the past. Six Flags has also taken a page out of Cedar Fair's playbook with the area overhauls as well, and I'm all for that. Every time Cedar Fair has done that over the past few years, it has come out really well, so I hope Six Flags can do the same. To wrap it all up, I think Six Flags won the 2024 announcements competition, but to be fair, they're playing a bit of catch up after their numbers tanked in Salim Basoul's first full year. I think the two companies are slowly becoming more alike in many ways, which I may do a full video on in the future, so if you'd like to see that, make sure to let me know. But do you agree with me thinking that Six Flags looks to be having the better year of additions, and who do you think has a stronger future in terms of investment? Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave me a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more amusement park content coming very soon. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.